The sound of the bucket hitting the marble floor echoed through the luxury hotel lobby. Like a gunshot, water splashed outward, creeping toward polished shoes and expensive luggage. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Heads turned. Faces tightened with irritation and disgust. Unbelievable, a man muttered, stepping back. Can't they hire competent people anymore? Another whispered loudly. The janitor froze. He was an older man, thin, with silver hair peeking from beneath a worn cap. His uniform had been washed too many times. Its color faded along with the respect people once had for him. His hands shook as he knelt down, desperately trying to contain the mess. A woman in a designer coat scoffed. "This is a five-star hotel," she said sharply. "People like him shouldn't be working where important guests are present." Laughter rippled quietly through the crowd. The hotel manager rushed over, his face burning with embarrassment. "What are you doing?" he snapped. "Today of all days. Do you know who's here? Clean this up, now." "I'm sorry," the janitor said softly, his voice barely rising above the hum of the lobby. No one answered him. No one helped. Within seconds, the crowd returned to their conversations, leaving him kneeling on the floor as if he were invisible. His name was Ethan Hale, though almost no one bothered to know it. For 3 years, Ethan had worked quietly in that hotel. He arrived before sunrise and left long after midnight. He cleaned floors, emptied trash, wiped tables, and fixed what others broke without complaint. People walked past him every day without a glance, as if he were part of the building itself. He had learned to accept the silence, but humiliation still stung, especially on days like this. The hotel was hosting an elite business summit. Powerful executives, investors, and city leaders filled every hall. The staff was tense, knowing one mistake could cost them their jobs. Ethan understood that fear better than anyone. As he worked near the conference area, he overheard conversations about failing companies, risky investments, and leadership crises. The words weren't unfamiliar. In fact, they stirred memories he usually kept buried deep. Once, long ago, Ethan had worn tailored suits instead of a uniform. He had sat in boardrooms, not hallways. He had advised corporations worth billions and helped rescue companies on the edge of collapse. He had been respected, trusted. Then life happened. His wife fell ill. Treatments were expensive. He sold his car, then his house. When she passed away, grief hollowed him out. His savings vanished, his world shrank, and his titles no longer mattered. When no one returned his calls, he took the first honest job he could find. He didn't choose janitorial work because it was easy. He chose it because it was honorable. That afternoon, the summit reached its peak. The lobby buzzed with activity as guests moved between sessions. Suddenly, a sharp gasp cut through the noise. A senior investor staggered near the elevator, clutching his chest. Panic spread instantly. "Call an ambulance." Someone shouted, "Give him space." Another yelled. Though no one moved, the man collapsed, while others froze in fear. Ethan dropped his mop and rushed forward. He knelt beside the investor, his movements calm and precise. "Sir," Ethan said firmly but gently, "look at me. Focus on your breathing. Slow, deep." The manager shouted from behind, "Get back. You're not trained for this." But Ethan didn't flinch. He checked the man's pulse, loosened his tie, and guided him through steady breaths. The investor's trembling slowly eased. His breathing stabilized just as paramedics arrived. One of them looked at Ethan with surprise. "Who did this first aid?" "I did," Ethan replied quietly. The paramedic nodded with respect. "You likely prevented a cardiac arrest." The lobby fell silent again, this time, not with ridicule, but with shock. Later, the investor requested to see Ethan privately. "You were remarkably composed," he said. "That kind of calm usually comes from experience." Ethan hesitated, then spoke honestly. He shared his past, not with pride, but without shame. The investor listened carefully, his expression changing. "So while we were debating leadership upstairs," he said slowly, "the most capable person in this building was cleaning our floors. By evening, the board called an emergency meeting. They invited Ethan to speak. The same executives who had ignored him now leaned forward as he explained solutions to problems they had struggled with for months. His insights were sharp, thoughtful, and grounded in reality. No ego, no bitterness, just clarity. When he finished, the room was silent. Then the offer came, a senior advisory role, immediate start, Fair compensation. The manager's face drained of color. The guests who had mocked Ethan earlier avoided his eyes. The woman in the designer coat stared at her hands. Ethan accepted, but not before saying one thing. I don't need apologies, he said calmly. But I hope today reminds you that dignity doesn't come from a job title. It comes from how we treat people. In the weeks that followed, the hotel changed. Staff members were acknowledged. Janitors were thanked. Interns were heard. Respect became part of the culture. Ethan still walked the halls with humility. Sometimes, he even helped clean a spill, reminding others where he came from and what truly mattered. Because life has a way of humbling those who judge too quickly, and sometimes it teaches us that the people we overlook today may be the very ones who shape our tomorrow.